Oh, you can't speak Spanish. You're not Latino. You could tease, there's teasing. There's like the oh haha no sabo ha ha ha, which we'll get into. We'll talk about no sabo. We'll talk about where that term comes from and what it means and who it affects, who it applies to, and how you can graduate from being a no sabo. We'll get into that. But there are legit. This is a legit thing where like Latinos who are fluent in Spanish, they literally look down upon people like me, people like a lot of Latinos. Maybe you clicked on this video, you've been looked down upon because you don't speak Spanish fluently, or maybe not at all. And the effect, right? Everything is cause and effect. There's a consequence to that. You do that, and then these Latino kids who don't speak Spanish fluently and feel isolated from their comunidad, they they marry white people and then produce white children, and then your culture dies. Which, there's nothing wrong with falling in love with anybody who's not Latino. There's nothing wrong with that. You love who you love, and you love people who treat you the best. Fall in love with someone, but that's not what this video is about, all right? But that's my point, is like they go find love elsewhere, which it's good that they're finding love, but they're going to reproduce, and then the culture is going to die because you're shaming them and you're preventing them from joining la comunidad. As a kid, I used to hear people speak Spanish. I used to hear relatives of mine speak Spanish. They would speak to me in Spanish, and oh my God, it was the scariest thing to hear another person habla español. Shit. I would start sweating. I'd start getting nervous. I would feel a real sense of fear if someone spoke to me in Spanish. Growing up Latino, not speaking Spanish, but having relatives, family members speak to me in Spanish for a second in time. I knew what it felt like to be Republican. I knew what they were feeling. Not that I agreed with it, but I understood the fear. What are you saying? No, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo está, mijo? ¿Tú tienes hambre? ¿Tú quieres comer algo? What you just called me? It's a scary thing. I would have to do that thing that all of us hate to do and be like, I don't speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Despacito. Despacio. It was the worst, and I grew up like that, and you feel left out. I felt left out of my childhood, and even now sometimes I feel left out. I go to a lot of Spanish restaurants. I love our food. Our food is the best. It's lo mejor. And I love to eat Spanish food, and I'll go to these restaurants and I'll order. Sometimes I'll order in Spanish, sometimes I'll order in English, okay? A veces una, a veces la otra. And I'll speak to them, and then if they start speaking in Spanish to each other, I start getting nervous. Even now, as a grown man who has done a good amount of work to learn the language, I still feel that. I still feel like, oh, what are they saying? I can't hear it too well. Because that's the thing, is you could sit here and learn Spanish all day. You could sit here and learn the words, do your Duolingo. Slight flex. My Duolingo streak is over 1,000. All right, that's a flex, and it's also a sob story at the same time. But I still get like nervous hearing people speak Spanish because it's like I don't know what they're saying, and so my problem is that I could speak the language for the most part. I could say most words. I can communicate what I'm thinking, but I can't hear when people speak to me in Spanish, and that's a problem I haven't seen in a lot of people. Maybe other no sabos, I'll talk to them, and maybe they can relate. But when someone speaks to me in Spanish, my ears, it's like they don't receive the word in Spanish. It all just sounds like a blur. Sounds like like NASCAR. So what do? I listen to reggaeton every day of my life, and it's the best. It's the best, bro. I love to listen to reggaeton. And that's how I learned Spanish. Next one we're gonna talk about is what is no sabo. What is no sabo? If you've never heard of no sabo, I will explain. If you have heard of it, you can get some PTSD hearing this. But apparently, and I don't take any accountability in this. Okay, I never said this in my life, but I guess back in the day, there were Latino kids who didn't speak Spanish that when they were approached in Spanish, they would say stuff like, "Oh, no sabo, yo no sabo," because they're trying to conjugate the word saber, right? They're trying to conjugate saber, and they're trying to say yo no sé. They're trying to say yo no sé. Yo no sé. Yo no sé. Yo no sé lo que yo estoy haciendo. And they didn't know the word sé, so they would say sabo. Yo no sabo. And so they coined this term, dare I say slur. They coined this slur, calling it no sabo, applying it to this whole generation of kids who don't speak Spanish. You grow up, oh, I grew up a no sabo kid. And to me, I've never in my life said sabo. I always knew it was said. That's like the second word that you learn in Spanish is how to say I know, because Latinos got that attitude. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yo sé. And the truth is I know that there's a bunch of us out there. Every time I meet another no sabo kid, I get my heart pounds, something inside of me lights up because it's nice to see, oh my God, you and I have the same trauma. Us no sabo kids, we're trauma bonded. Whenever we meet each other, oh my God, you too, bro. Oh my God, that's great. There's a community of us and we're all out there. And a lot of us are by ourselves, but at the same time, we're not. You have this video, I guess. I don't know. We need to start like a Reddit page of no sabo kids that get together and we all just write our problems and we create a community. Because it's the culture. You don't want to lose your culture. For all these no sabo kids, my advice is someone's pressing you about not knowing Spanish or they're asking you questions. How come you don't learn Spanish? How come you can't speak it? Are you really Latino? Are you really Puerto Rican? Or really? Do the right thing and blame everybody else. That's the right thing to do. How come you don't speak Spanish? Well, no one taught it to me. You were forced to speak in English. And that's the truth. The reason why you're a no sabo kid is because no one taught you how to speak Spanish. No one forced your brain to translate and work in Spanish. So now it's a lot harder for you to understand that language as an adult. And you still should. Not giving you an excuse to not learn Spanish. But it's okay to blame other people. I mean, if you're 35 years old, that's a little different. Now I have a complex because of this whole no sabo kid thing and because of the whole feeling like I need to prove myself. A lot of Latinos who don't speak Spanish feel that. We feel this chip on our shoulder. We need to prove ourselves. And I feel it within myself. I'll be around other Latinos and I'll just, if they're speaking Spanish, I try my best to just like get into the conversation with them. I try to, you ever like yo también yourself into a conversation? I just try to like say words in Spanish, not to them directly, but just out loud. I just want them to know that I'm there. I just want them to know I exist. One time I said ja 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 ja. I'll say like even 2 words. I'll just say 2 words. Este cabrón, man. Este cabrón, right? Y este cabrón. But the problem with that is if you speak in Spanish, they gonna think you speak Spanish fluently. They're not gonna be like, oh, he's practicing Spanish. And that's another problem too, is like the best way to learn Spanish is to practice it with other people. But you kind of have to give them that little preface. You have to tell them, hey, I'm practicing. Because if you just walk up to someone and start speaking to them in Spanish, but you're not used to listening in Spanish, that's going to be a huge barrier for you. And you're gonna feel very silly when you say something to somebody, ay, este cabrón está bien loco, ¿verdad? Right? And then they go, yeah, and you're like, hey, man, I was joking. I was just joking. I read it. I wrote it on my hand here. Now I'm reading it, so that's how I knew what to say. I don't speak. I gotta say I use Duolingo a lot, right? I already told you I got that streak on Duolingo, and I'm proud of it. Kind of not proud of it at the same time because it's kind of like, yo, when are you gonna not need Duolingo anymore? I want to get to that point where I have graduated from Duolingo, where I say bye to Lily. And I'm done with you, Lily. Me and you, we breaking up. Like, you always had attitude. You was always mad sassy, Lily. But I use Duolingo a lot. I use it every day. Keep my streak. And I try to challenge myself on Duolingo. Sometimes I do my Duolingo out in public, and it's a little embarrassing. If I'm doing my Duolingo and I see a Latino walking my way, I be quick as hell to put my phone away. I be put my phone away quick as hell. I don't want nobody to see me. If I have to do Duolingo in public, I try to just hide it. I do my Duolingo like I'm doing a line. I excuse myself from the table and I go find the nearest restroom. Just got to take care of what I got to take care of for 5 minutes. I go in the bathroom stall. Hoy, yo voy pa la playa. Meanwhile, there's a dude actually doing the line in the stall next door. We're both just wasting these stalls. We're both hogging up these stalls. This poor guy outside has to take his shit, and him and I are dealing with our problems. That's the world we live in. That's the world we live in, because my parents didn't speak to me in Spanish. That's what I'm gonna tell the guy when he shits his pants. Hey man, you You could blame my parents. Anyway, I have this complex now about this whole Duolingo, and I kind of like. I feel like Duolingo is good, you know, because it teaches you the language, but at the same time, it's like I hide it. It's not. I try not to like make everybody see it. I don't want other people to see me on Duolingo. I'm being vulnerable when I'm on that app, so I hide it. Lily is my side chick. She's my side chick. Don't nobody know about her. She's not allowed to be on my wallpaper. I don't be texting Lily, talking to Lily in Spanish in front of other people. But sometimes I get cocky with my Spanish, or at least I feel like I'm nice with it. Like I'll be watching TV and the subtitles will be in Spanish, and I'm like, I think I'm understanding what's going on. I'm kind of, I might got this in the bag. Maybe I got this in the bag. And so I'll turn the subtitles off and I'll just watch Narcos with the subtitles off, trying to follow along. And the problem with that is I'm not nice like that. So I'll take the subtitles off and I'll be like, all right, watching the show. Okay. Yeah. He just said he's going to start a bowling league. That's what he just, and then some dude will get shot in the face. And I try to just justify that. I'm like, all right, well, they probably just didn't want to pay for him. I get it. You add another person, you got to add a whole nother lane. And I've noticed some white people speak Spanish better than me, which that's embarrassing. Some white people speak Spanish better than us. You know, like Ben Affleck. I hate that dude. I love Ben Affleck. But holy shit, man. When I saw Ben Affleck speaking Spanish, that put my ass to shame. Batman speaking in Spanish, man, and he's bagging J-Lo. But yeah, white people be speaking better Spanish than me, and it's kind of like getting cucked in your own language. I just sit in the cuck chair and I just watch them speak to another Latina person in Spanish. That's how that feels. You just sit back looking stupid. Okay. Oh, well, he rolls his eyes pretty good. I'm envious of those who get to learn Spanish. I'm like from birth. I'm envious of those who get to learn it. The people who get to learn Spanish obviously are the people who have parents who speak Spanish. So if you have parents that only think in Spanish and that's the language that they speak, you're automatically going to learn it. And then you're going to go to school, because you go to school here in the States, you're going to go to school and speak in English. So you're going to become bilingual by the time you're like 5 years old. Jealous of those people. That's the life. I wish I lived that life, man. I wish I had that. I wish I had. But a lot of those Latinos, they don't understand. That's a privilege that you have to be able to learn your mother tongue and use it in the house, and then you go to school and you speak. And I know a lot of those people say that they struggled like speaking in English at first in school, but I'll tell you this, bro. I'd rather be somebody struggling as like a child speaking English, trying to fit in with everybody in English, and then get over it after a couple years, than to be like in my late teens, early 20s, not being able to connect with my grandmother. Jesus Christ. My grandmother speaks Spanish fluently, and she speaks broken English, but her main language is Spanish. And there would be some times where she could not say what she wanted to say in English. And she would try, but it was very scary. And what I mean by that is that she would be joking around with us, and I'm going to tell you what she said in English. I don't know what she was trying to say in Spanish. All these years of learning Spanish, I don't know what the hell she was trying to say in Spanish. She would be joking around with us, and then she would say in English, I'm going to kick you in your neck. I'm going to kick you in your neck. Did you throw a fight? That's how my grandma spoke to us. I'm going to kick you in your neck. I don't know what the fuck that translates to in Spanish. I think she was just a violent person. My grandmother would put me in headlocks. Do any of y'all have like grandmas like that, or is that just me? My grandma was raised on a farm in Puerto Rico, and I think she has like a 3rd grade education. So that's the hitting kind. That's the type of, because that's all she knows. All she knows is hit him and to see if he stops. I'm gonna hit him. So my grandma put me in a lot of headlocks, always threatened to kick us in the neck because of that language barrier. I didn't know what she was trying to say, but you know, a lot of people have that privilege. I'm gonna call it a privilege. You get to speak Spanish. I'm so jealous of you guys. You know, meanwhile, I gotta learn it on an app. They're using AI on these apps now. I have to fucking communicate with computers because no one spoke to me in Spanish. I didn't learn it as a kid, as a baby. It wasn't in my brain, so I had to I was the only kid in Spanish class. I hated that. Dare I say it? There are Latinos who are out here protesting ICE, All right, which is the right thing to do. These Latinos are protesting ICE, and they're saying, "Yo, you can't kick people out of this community. We're protecting our people. We're protecting our Latinos and any other immigrants. You can't. They're protesting against kicking people out of the country. Their message being, you can't just kick people out of this country. You can't kick people out of the community, just because they don't speak the language you want them to speak. They don't speak English, so now you want them gone. You can't do that. These are good people. They're loving people. They love us. We love them. You can't shun people from the community because they don't speak the language you want them to speak. That's their message here. And then I'll walk up to another Latino. I'll be like, "Hey, I never learned Spanish. I speak very, very little Spanish. Is that cool?" And they go, "You're not one of us. You're not Latino. You're not Latino if you don't speak Spanish." Isn't that so hypocritical? It's hypocritical in a good way though, because it's like your heart is in the right place. Obviously, if you're protesting ICE, but it's like some of these Latinos are fighting no sabos harder than they're fighting ICE. They're going to no sabo protests. That's what they're doing. Rather than trying to be like, "Oh, yo, you learn Spanish? Yo, appreciate that. I'll practice with you. Yo voy a practicar contigo." Instead of that, they go, "You're not one of us." Also, some of y'all be sounding mad weird. Like the Latinos who have thick ass accents, you're gonna make fun of how I sound. My English is perfect. You're the one who's walking around Idaho sounding like that. No, okay. I want. Can I please have what? And you're gonna make fun of how I sound, bro? I'm on your team. I'm the only one here. I'm the only one in this room who didn't think that you were delivering food when you walked in. The way your ass sounds. "Hi, I'm here for the meeting." I had to stop all the white people from tipping you. You ain't give me shit because I'm trying to learn Spanish, connect with my culture more. That's fucked up. I think my problem more so is that people think I speak Spanish fluently because, I be dancing to these reggaeton songs. Oh my God. Reggaeton be having me moving. I be dancing so well that they come up to me. They go, "Wow, okay." They start hitting me with this rapid Spanish. "¿Qué tú vas a hacer después de esto, bro?" I'm like, oh, I just like the song. You gotta chill out for me. I can't process everything you just said. Can you say what you just said and then say it again slower and in English? I love reggaeton. I love salsa, bachata, merengue. Algo tu cara me fascina. My advice: if you're learning Spanish, you're trying to get better at the language, be around people who speak Spanish. Be around people who speak Spanish and make sure that they know that you're practicing. That way it doesn't make you feel silly, because it can be very easy to feel silly when you're around people speaking Spanish, because you're going to stutter a lot and you're going to mess up a lot, but you got to get back up. You got to get back up, keep going. Be around people who make you feel comfortable when you mess up. That needs to be your community. That needs to be your circle. Go spend time with fluent Spanish speakers. That's why I only date women who speak Spanish. Right, Monica? She nods her head. Rather than saying something in Spanish, she just nods her head. They don't even know that you exist. Wow, she's not talking. She said, "I'm working." So Latino of you, fucking working hard. It's 6:36 p.m. and this girl is running a company. That's how Mexican she is. She's a beast. Anyway, I appreciate your words in English. But yeah, no, be around people who speak Spanish. That's my advice. And it'll get better, man. It'll get better. That's another thing too, is I learned how to speak Spanish. Like in my Puerto Rican household, I would be reading the words and I'd be like, "Oh, there's a V. It's ven aquí." I always heard ven aquí. Almost with a solid B sometimes. Sometimes if they was pissed, if they were pissed, sometimes if they were pissed, they would say "Baki," which sounds like Ben Aki. I'd be like, "Yo, Ben is here?"